going to turn our attention to factoring and solving trinomial quadratic equations. But what we're going to focus on is having a leading coefficient of 1. And so, in our first example, which I'll put a little purple star by, we're going to factor to find the solutions to x squared plus 8x plus 12 equals 0. A couple things about this equation. First of all, it has a leading coefficient of 1 because it's written in the order from greatest power down to the constant. And this equation is already equal to 0. Now we know that quadratic equations can have two solutions. So you'll notice there's a line that's separating this, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can think about this. And because the leading coefficient is 1, that gives us a couple options. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think of the box method, but in a little bit of a reverse order. So what I'm going to do is this. Let me get that out of there. Is I'm going to put the x squared in the first box. And I'm going to put the 12 in the last box. And what I need is I need these two boxes combined to add up to 8x. So here's what I've got to think about. I know that x multiplied by x will give us x squared. So that's good. But here's what I need to find. I need to find two numbers that multiply to 12 that are also going to have those two boxes add up to 8x. Okay, so let me make a note. I need to find two numbers that multiply to 12 that add up to 8, which will eventually add up to 8x. So here's what I could do. I'm going to take 12 and I'm going to list the factors that make 12 together. So 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Those are the combinations that multiply to 12. Well, do you notice any one of those three pairs that would add up to 8? I do. 2 and 6. So what if I put plus 2 and plus 6? Well, 2 times 6 is 12, so I do get that. And 2 times x would give us the 2x, and 6 times x would give us the 6x. And both of those boxes now add up to 8x. So hey, it works. And what I've just done is I've just found the factors, namely x plus 2 and x plus 6. Those are the factors. Now to solve from there, I would set those factors equal to 0 and solve. So subtracting 2 from both sides gives me a solution of -2. Subtracting 6 from both sides gives me the other solution of -6. And that looks pretty nice if we have a leading coefficient of 1. Well, if we have a leading coefficient of 1, or if we have a leading coefficient other than 1, then I can use the second method here. And we'll kind of call it the x method. Now, we have a standard form of a quadratic equation, namely ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So a is 1, b is 8, and c is 12. This will be really useful in a future concept too. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make a template here. So I'm going to take a and c and multiply them, and I'm going to put the value of b down here. Okay, so what that would look like with the numbers is a times c is 12, and b is 8. And what I have to do is I have to find two numbers that multiply again to 12 that add up to 8. Well, using the previous method, we already found them, 2 and 6. Now I'm going to use a technique called factoring by grouping next. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down this x squared, and I'm going to bring down this positive 12. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the 8x with the 2 and the 6. And I'm going to put an x with both of those. Now you'll notice that what I have, and I'm going to put a little check mark by it, x squared plus 2x plus 6x plus 12 is the same thing as what we have up above. I just made 8x look different. 8x is 2x plus 6x, okay? So now here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to look at these first two terms, and I'm going to find the greatest common factor of x squared and 2x, which we're already experts at is x. Leaves behind x plus 2. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at 6x plus 12. And I'm going to think, what do they have in common? Well, they both have a 6, a positive 6. And that leaves behind an x plus 2 as well. And that's good, because here's what we need to have happen. One of the factors is going to be x plus 2. If you look at both of those quantities, I have an x plus 2. It's kind of like I can factor out an x plus 2. And that leaves behind x plus 6. And like before, we get the same factors, x plus 2 and x plus 6. Now if the 2 and the 6 are switched, it doesn't matter. We're still going to get the same thing. So because I'm going to get the same factors, I'm going to set, again, those factors equal to 0. And get the two solutions, namely -2 and -6. So which technique is easier? Well, if the leading coefficient is 1, then I would probably do the left side. But if you'd like to get comfortable with this x method, because we're going to need it, you can begin to kind of process the second one on the right. Okay? And you can get pretty fast at these. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Now, with the next one here, we are going to take a look at, I'm going to take that away, we're going to take a look at x squared plus 7x plus 12 next. Now, common theme, 12, okay? So we're trying to work with a product of 12. So let's go through like we did the left side before, okay? So we'll box it up. I need an x squared, a 12, and I need the 2 that are left to add up to 7x. So I know it's going to be x and x. And what I need to do is I need to look at 12 again. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And I need to find two numbers that multiply to 12 that add up to 7 this time. That'll give me the 7x. Well, in this case, it's going to be 3 and 4. Because 3 times x will give us 3x, and 4 times x will give us 4x. So that's what I need. So my factors are x plus 3 and x plus 4. And if I set both of those equal to 0, I'll get solutions of -3 and -4. Okay, let's go back to the x method. So again, there's a 1 right here. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So the number in front of x squared is my a, 1. The b is the number in front of x, which is 7. And the c is what's left over, which is 12. If you need to go back and rewatch this, feel free to do so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply a and c together. So a times c, I'm just going to make a note here, ac that's 12. And b goes here, that's 7. So again, I have to find two numbers that multiply to 12 that add up to 7. 4 and 3. Now, the grouping part. Here it comes. X squared comes on down. This positive 12 comes on down. I'm then going to replace the 7x with a 4x and a 3x. So what I have to here is the same thing as what I have here. It's just 4 terms instead of 3. Okay, so taking a look at x squared and 4x, what do they have in common? Well, they both have an x, and it leaves behind an x plus 4. Because x times x is x squared, and x times 4 is 4x. Now I look over here. What do 3x and 12 have in common? Well, they both have a 3. It leaves behind an x plus 4. Notice the x plus 4s are the same. That always is true if you do this right. So 3 times x gives us 3x, and 3 times 4 gives us 12. So our factors are x plus 4, and then I have an x plus 3 left, which is the same as over here, which means I'm going to get the same two solutions, negative 4 and negative 3. Okay. So on the very last one here, x squared plus 13x plus 12, as we take a look at that, and if we consider this here. Now, I could do the x method, but again, there's a 1 right here. So I could just kind of think of it this way. I basically need to find two numbers that multiply to 12 that add up to 13. So thinking of what makes 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, the pair of numbers that will work will be 1 and 12. So automatically I know that the factors are going to be x plus 1 and x plus 12. And I can check that, and I'll just do that over here. By multiplying this out. And I get the same thing, x squared plus 13x plus 12. So when I set each of the factors equal to 0, my solutions are negative 1 and negative 12. This is how you can factor a trinomial by grouping or using the x method, or thinking about it from the box standpoint that we've done when we found products before. Now in the next video we're going to take a look at this, but we're going to start changing some signs around, and we'll go through the two methods, showcasing those methods as well. And we'll see you then for that.